So I have proof that the market will get worse, and we're actually going to walk through it all step by step. No clickbaiting today, just more hard facts and exactly what to do about it. I just ask in exchange for you to gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. And you asked for it, so you got it. I extended the sale for the Market Insiders private group, and prices will never be lower again. And it's where you get full and direct access to me and a group of 6- and 7-figure investors. And you get access to 4 courses for free that teach you how to plan, do evaluation, build up your cash. And you get to see my watch list with price targets, my buy and sell alerts. We got live weekly Q&As, exclusive videos, and a ton more. So check out the pinned comment. And before blasting me for promoting it, I have no ads, no sponsors. This is what YouTube pays me in a month, and I give half of that and half the group's proceeds to charity. All right, so I'm going to throw up a chart here in just a second that was actually posted in my group that we just discussed, and shout out to Jersey T for posting it in there. But I wanted to show it to you guys too and explain exactly what I am seeing and what is coming more importantly, and unfortunately it's going to be just a little bit painful. Now this chart has proven to be true every time throughout market history, so you can choose to ignore it or panic or say this time it's different or something like that, or you can choose to understand where we are at, why it's such a rare spot that we are in right now, and why it's actually critical to your wealth building journey. So here's the chart right here, and maybe you have seen this before, but have you really studied it and really looked at it deeply? Now I understand you get mini cycles like this all the time, but the complete chart that is on this chart can take a decade to complete in some cases. So, kind of keep that time horizon in your mind, and we're just looking at years here, not, the span of a few weeks or a few months. Also keep in mind that the up cycles always last longer than the down ones, even though they appear even on this chart. So kind of keep that in mind too. So how many of you guys started investing last year around this time, maybe a few months earlier than that? At that stage, you bought somewhere in the thrill and euphoria stage, and every comment on YouTube was about going all in or maxing out margin and how this stock or that stock was going to make you rich, or it's a guaranteed 10x or 100x play or whatever, all kinds of crap like that. People were even posting what they were going to buy with the money, houses, cars, whatever, it was all being posted there. That was literally 90% of the comments in my videos and on other people's videos too. And I got crushed when I would put out a video saying otherwise, and my channel suffered for it. And those people pushing the moon narrative this time last year literally would gain like 20,000 subscribers in a week, while my channel would gain like 200. I mean, it was just crazy, and it was just part of that time, and I understand that. So then the spring and the summer hit, and we saw the next phase play out. First, you saw complacency in the comments about how the next run was coming, and then kind of anxiety started to get in there as the dip took longer than expected. And then it just kept dipping and dipping and dipping. During this time, there were some great deals. I mean, you had Tesla in the 600s, and I bought, and then it went into the 500s where a ton of our members and you guys out there bought too. We were also buying stocks like Airbnb at 134, which it's actually at like 174 or something like that now, despite this market correction or crash. So it's still a 30% gainer even today. And after all that kind of went down, I started seeing the denial phase kick in. You'd hear stuff like, that penny stock I bought with no revenue or nothing, but lots of potential, or maybe it was more hype, is still a great company and it's going to come back. Same thing was being said about a lot of the stocks that were caught up in that hype rally at the beginning of the year last year. And maybe you did buy a great company, but you were still in denial about the fact that valuations matter. So at this stage, some didn't want to admit that they didn't do a valuation, or maybe they got caught up in the hype or something else like that. They still weren't at the point yet to where they were willing to admit that. I was seeing all that in the comment section as well, and honestly with people that I talk to in daily life. But it's like I always say, valuations always matter and stocks always return to them eventually. And that narrative pretty much took us through the rest of 2021. Now overall, my portfolio was up around 40% or so in 2021, and that was only because I didn't buy the hype rally at the beginning of 2021. I was busy buying boring stuff like Apple that nobody wanted at the time. So instead of being down, I was up way up because stocks like Apple just kept running. And yeah, I got a bunch of other old man stocks like that too that just did really, really well last year. Now to be upfront, I did have stocks that were down just like you guys too. But the one thing that I didn't do was I didn't buy the hype rally. I know some of you guys didn't too, and that's awesome. But I did not buy into that hype rally, if I could talk. I didn't buy into it at all. So those stocks that are down were just minor in comparison to the gains in stocks like Apple. And then shortly as the year started, the panic set in as described that everyone is selling, I need to get out too. And then we finally saw a capitulation when the numbers showed that retail sold out en masse at the end of January. Now I'm not getting into why, but the facts are we, the retail investors, you and I, did just that overall as a whole. Since then, I've actually seen some anger about how Wall Street screwed us, the Fed or the government screwed us, and stuff like that. So that basically, to me, takes us up to today, where we are just past the anger stage now, in my opinion. And I'm just now starting to see the depression phase kind of sprinkle in just a little bit in my comments. I mean, people talking about how they're not able to retire. Are they going to be able to retire and stuff like that? Real fears and real doubt about the future. Now that whole wild ride we just described took over a year to happen. From thrill to in between anger and depression, over a year for all that to play out. So guess what? It's not going to turn around and be a euphoria rally in the next week or even the next month or even the next 6 months. It took us over a year to get here, and it will take a nice chunk of time to dig completely out. Now yes, some stocks will move faster than others and dig out of the hole much quicker. Other stocks like large caps still need to fall more or at least stagnate for 6 months to let their earnings catch up to the valuations. But there is no doubt we're somewhere in kind of the trough of this chart. Since we only have large troughs like this every decade or half a decade or so or whatever, do you see the opportunity here that I see? Now, I'm not saying time the market. That's impossible and just stupid to try. I'm honestly sick and tired of talking about it. The math works out in the favor of everyone who just invests consistently over the long term. But there are times where it makes sense to not only invest consistently, but maybe look to add a little bit heavier, as we are in one of those times with a lot of stocks because the valuation is just stupid on a lot of great stocks. How many of you would like to have had bought Apple at $3 to $5 per share? Now, whoa, slow down. Remember that's split adjusted there. I'm sorry, I should have said that up front. That's split adjusted. But guess what? During the financial crisis, you had 2 years to add Apple at those prices. 2 freaking years. But as we have been witnessing, most people bail out during times like that and don't buy. And it's especially retail investors. And then we all wonder why the institutions get rich and we don't. Now, for those people that did buy it at 5, it just went to the moon from there, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. You cannot time the market perfectly like that. And I screwed it up personally a ton and didn't get any of those $3 shares because I suck. I missed it the first time in the 3s, and then after I bought it at 5, I missed it again in the 3s. But if I said I bought Apple at $5 a share to you right now, that buy doesn't look sucky, but it looks genius today. And by the way, at $5, it had already dipped 50% by then, and then it dipped again almost another 50% from there to get down to $3. So does any of that sound familiar to you guys? So although I don't see any quick way out of this and possibly more pain, I also know we are in a once-in-a-decade type opportunity to buy great stocks at a great discount. I'm not speculating on trash. I'm just doubling down on great companies at stupid valuations in some cases. It's awesome. Will everything I buy be a winner here? Absolutely not. I will get some of these picks wrong. Will my portfolio be completely red this year unlike the past few years? Probably so, and I don't care about that or getting some of my picks wrong, to be honest. Nobody gets every stock pick right. Nobody. I was red for over 2 years during the financial crisis and everything. I mean, stocks, real estate, everything. But it was also an opportunity of a lifetime. And guess what? While it was happening, I screwed it up in the short term in every way possible. I bought too early, not buying enough because I listened to the noise. I even delayed buying the super bottom because I listened to the noise. I bought complete duds like GE that we've talked about before on this channel. I did many things wrong, and it still made me a fortune during the next bull run. The only mistake you can make during this time that will not benefit you in the long run is trying to time the market and sell out and buy back in and play that whole game, or listening to the noise to a point where you don't even invest until we are at the thrill or the euphoria stage, which unfortunately is what most people do. They sell off right now because stocks are a scam, and then when we hit the euphoria stage, they jump back in because they're going to make a fortune. I have seen it many times before with friends and family over the years. With every type of investment, it always follows the same pattern. So you guessed it, I bought heavy this past week, and I will in the coming weeks and the coming months. I have no idea how long it will last, and I don't care. I'm looking 3 to 5 years out. I was prepared, and many of you were prepared before this downturn ever started. And I'm also prepared to be red and will keep buying until the next bull market comes, which it will come. That is the truth about investing in the market. But I want to hear from you. Where do you think we are on this chart and why? I'd love to hear what you think. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.